You think life is a playground? Chief Okonkwo's voice thundered across the expansive living room. Tobe rolled his eyes, arms folded across his chest. Dad, not this again. I've told you marriage is not on my mind. And that's the problem. His father fired back, coughing into a handkerchief, his body already fragile from illness. You walk around with your father's name like it's a joke. I built this empire with sweat. Sweat! And you want to inherit it without responsibility? Tobe scoffed, pacing. I'm running this business already, aren't I? You're playing CEO. You think managing accounts and backing orders is running a business? My cousin's son, your age mate, is married with a child, and he's managing his own firm like a man. Meanwhile, my own son can't keep his zip up and walks around like the world owes him something. Chief Okonkwo sat back on the couch, breathing heavily. I will not repeat myself again. Get married, prove you are responsible, or I will hand the company over to someone else. Tobe stiffened. You can't be serious. Oh, I'm dead serious, his father said coldly. And at the rate this sickness is going, I might be dead soon. So, be quick. He stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Outside, the afternoon sun beat down as Tobe got into his black Benz, fuming. Get married, he mocked under his breath, as if that solves anything. But as the days passed, reality began to set in. He couldn't let the company slip away, so he made up his mind. If they wanted a wife, he would find one, but only the finest. No village girl, no nonsense. Someone whose beauty would shut everyone up. Later that week, in one of the quieter parts of town, Tobe ran into trouble. He had gone to inspect a land parcel, but ended up insulting one of the boys loitering around. You think you can talk to me? Do you know who I am? He spat at the scruffy-looking youth. The boy didn't care. Now you dey talk like say you be God. Oya na make me teach you lesson. In seconds, two more boys surrounded him. Tobe's voice rose, but fear had already gripped his chest. Hey, don't touch me. They pushed him to the wall, fist clenched. Please, please, stop. A voice cried out. Debbie ran across the street, inserting herself in between them. Abeg na, I dey beg una. Leave am. He no sabi wetin he dey talk. One of the boys stoned. Debbie, na because of you we go spare this goat. But na your face we go design today. One of them slapped Debbie hard across the face. Still she begged. I'm sorry, let him go. Eventually they released him and walked off, muttering threats. Tobe straightened his shirt, adjusting his gold wristwatch like a spoiled prince. Debbie turned to him. Are you okay? He looked at her and for the first time saw the unevenness of her face, the side that didn't match the rest. Her prosthetics were off today. He took a step back in disgust. Get away from me, he snapped. You look like a monster. Her breath caught. She said nothing, just looked at him, tears silently filling her eyes. And then slowly, she turned around and walked away. He didn't look back. Debbie stepped into their one-bedroom apartment, her hand still pressed to her cheeks. Dora, her twin sister, was on the couch, scrolling through her phone. The moment she looked up, her face hardened. Debbie, what happened to your face? Debbie didn't speak at first. She dropped her bag on the floor, then slumped beside her sister. I saw him today, she said quietly. Dora's eyebrows furrowed. Who? Tobe. Dora blinked. The arrogant guy everyone's been talking about. What about him? Debbie let out a shaky breath. He was about to get mobbed. I stepped in to help him. Begged the boys not to touch him. One of them hit me, but they let him go. Dora straightened, eyes wide. And what did he say to you? There was a long pause. Debbie looked away. He told me to get away. Called me a monster. Silence. Dora stood up slowly, hands clenching her sides. He said what? Debbie nodded, her voice low. It's fine. No, it's not fine. Dora's voice cracked like thunder. Who the hell does he think he is? Because you don't have a perfect face, you're suddenly not human? Debbie, try to calm her. Sis, please, it's not worth it. No, Dora said, pacing. You helped him. You risked yourself for someone who would spit on you the next second. I'm sick of people thinking they can treat you like this. Debbie sighed. He's not the first. Dora sat back down, staring into space, a silence settling between them, heavy and thoughtful. Then Dora turned sharply. I have an idea. Dora blinked. What? You said he didn't recognize you, right? He only saw your face now, but not before. He doesn't know you have a twin? Debbie frowned. Where are you going with this? Dora smirked. Let's teach him a lesson. You will be me. Debbie's eyes widened. What? No. Yes, you go to him, all dressed up, prosthetics on, be elegant, poised, everything he thinks he wants. Let him fall, let him crawl, and then break his heart. Debbie hesitated. And then what? What if he finds out? What if he hurts me again? You leave him hanging, Dora said firmly. 1 month. That's all. He won't even know what hit him. Debbie looked down. But Dora, what if what? What if what? What if I start to like him? And Dora stared at her. Then we stop. But this boy needs a taste of what it feels like to be treated as less. Debbie didn't reply. But that night, she stood before her mirror, prosthetics on, a little makeup applied to match Dora's usual look. She didn't look like herself. She looked like Dora. Beautiful, symmetrical, undeniable. She looked like the kind of woman someone like Tobe would choose. She took a deep breath. Let's begin. Tobe adjusted his shirt collar in front of his car mirror. He had never been this eager to see anyone, let alone a woman. But there was something different about her. The girl from the cafe, the one with the calm eyes, perfect skin, soft voice, Dora. Or so he thought. They had bumped into each other again after the street incident. This time, Debbie wore her prosthetics, makeup, flawless, clothes elegant. Tobe was captivated. She smiled politely, spoke little, and left just enough mystery to draw him in. Now, 2 weeks later, he couldn't stop thinking about her. She didn't chase him. She didn't act impressed by his cars, his tattoo, or the name Okonkwo. That alone made her special. Over dinner, at a high-end restaurant, she listened attentively, laughed at the right jokes, and challenged his opinion without sounding disrespectful. He leaned closer. You're different, you know. Most girls just want to be seen. You're something else. David gave quite a smile. Maybe you just have been looking in the wrong places. Her words lingered. That night, he called his parents. I found the one, he said confidently. By the 3rd week, he showed up at her house with roses and a gold ring. Debbie blinked. What's this? He got down on one knee. Dora, I've never met someone like you. You changed something in me. I know it's sudden, but I don't care. I want you to be my wife. Debbie froze. This wasn't part of the plan. She was meant to disappear before it got to this point. Her heart pounded. For a second, she almost said yes. Then she said it anyway. Yes. Later that night, Debbie sat on the bed, staring at the ring. Dora barged in. You said what? Debbie looked up, eyes red. I said yes. Dora threw her hands in the air. Are you insane, Debbie? This is supposed to be a short-term plan. Fake date, make him fall, then vanish. Debbie's voice cracked. I couldn't help it. It's not as bad as we thought, Debbie scoffed. Oh, please. The same guy who called you a monster? I know. Debbie looked down. But maybe he can change. Maybe, just maybe. This could be my chance to have something normal. Something real. Dora stared at her sister for a long time. You're too good for him, Debbie. But no one else is even looking at me, she whispered. The wedding was planned in a haste. Tobe needed to prove to his father that he was ready before the 1-month deadline. Debbie kept up the act, prosthetics on, voice composed. Dora stayed out of sight, claiming to be abroad with her fiancé. Tobe's parents were pleased. She was stunning, classy and quiet. On the day of the wedding, she walked down the aisle in a beautiful ivory gown. Her heart pounded with every step. She told herself it was just another performance, but her heart had already stopped pretending. And that night, when she finally arrived at the luxurious home gifted by his father, she knew she had crossed a line she couldn't walk back from. They made love. She never felt so exposed, yet strangely safe. Tobe pushed the bathroom door open casually, shirtless and humming, expecting to find his wife applying perfume or wrapping her head for bed. But what he saw froze him in place. Debbie had just peeled off the final layer of her prosthetics. She turned slowly, startled. Their eyes met, but his eyes didn't hold love. They held horror. He stumbled back. Who are you? She stepped forward and panicked. Tobe, I can explain, he roared. What in God's name is this? Is this a prank? Is this some kind of a sick joke? Tears rushed to her eyes. Please just listen. You deceived me. You tricked me into marrying you. You're not Dora. You're some monster in disguise. She clenched her robe tighter. Tobe, I'm not a monster. My name is Debbie. I never meant to deceive you. I wanted to be seen for once. But he wasn't listening. His rage swallowed every word. You disgust me. He stormed out of the room, grabbed his car keys, and drove off into the night without another word. By morning, Debbie was still in the house, alone, numb. Around noon, she heard the sound of a car pulling up. When she stepped into the living room, she saw Tobe walk in with his parents behind him. She stood still, lips trembling. He pointed at her, furiously. Tell them what you are. His mother looked confused. What's going on here? His father looked stern. Young man, control your voice. Tobe's eyes didn't leave her. Take off your face paint. Show them what you showed me last night. Debbie swallowed hard. Her hands trembled as she reached up and slowly peeled away the prosthetics. Gasps filled the room. But before anyone could speak, she raised her hands gently. I would like to say something, please. His parents sat. Tobe remained standing, glaring. My name is Debbie, she began. I'm Dora's twin sister. I know this was wrong. I pretended to be her, and I married your son under false pretenses. But everything I did because I fell in love. She glanced at Tobe, who scoffed and looked away. I'm the one who helped him when he almost got lynched weeks ago. I begged those boys. I was the one who got slapped. He didn't remember me. He didn't even care. He looked at my face and called me a monster. Tobe's mother covered her mouth. I never planned to hurt anyone. I wanted a chance, just one chance to feel loved, even if it was fake. I planned to leave before the wedding, but he proposed, and I said yes, knowing fully well he didn't know the real me. She turned to his parents. If you want me to leave, I will. There was a long silence for a moment. Then Chief Okonkwo stood slowly. So, you're the one who saved my son's life. David nodded once. He turned to Tobe, and you called her a monster. Tobe said nothing. His father continued. The only thing you did wrong was not telling him earlier. But if this boy had been more patient, if he had actually taken time to know who he was marrying, none of this would be a surprise. He turned sharply to his son. If you walk out of this marriage, you walk out of my inheritance. Tobe's eyes widened. Dad, I'm serious. Maybe this will finally teach you that not everything that glitters is gold. You think life is all about face and flair? It's not. You married a woman with more courage and compassion than any other I've met. You'd learn to value her, or you'd lose everything. His mother added softly, she's not a monster. She's a miracle. They left. Tobe stood in the hallway for a long time, speechless. That night, the man who once claimed he wanted a wife walked into his bedroom. looked at the same woman who risked everything for him and slapped her. From that moment, Tobe changed. He would insult her at the slightest thing, shout, ignore, humiliate. Debbie, filled with feelings she couldn't explain, stayed. She made his meals, she cleaned, she prayed, she tried. But he continued bringing women home, flaunting them in front of her like she was invincible. Until the day his mother walked in unexpectedly and found him walking a half-dressed woman out of the door. Who is that woman? His mother asked sharply, stepping out of the corner of the corridor. Tobe froze mid-step, still holding the front door open, but the skimpily dressed lady. Mom, don't mom me. Who is she? The girl giggled awkwardly and muttered a quick, "Good afternoon, ma," before hurrying past. Tobe closed the door quietly. You're bringing women into your matrimonial home? His mother demanded, eyes ablaze. Have you no shame? It's not what you think, he began. Shut up, Tobe. Your wife is upstairs and you're busy parading strangers in and out of this house like she's a furniture. Debbie slowly came down the stairs. Her eyes were red and swollen. Cheeks pale. Mommy, it's okay, she whispered. No, it's not okay, the woman snapped. What's going on here? Debbie hesitated. Nothing, I'm fine. You're not fine, you're crying. Debbie's lip trembled. It's nothing, ma. Tobe, his mom turned to him slowly. Have you been laying your hand on this girl? He didn't answer. The silence was enough. Debbie collapsed. Her body gave out. She woke up in the hospital bed, the fluorescent lights too bright for her sore eyes. A nurse held her gently. You're okay now. Just rest. The next voice she heard made her flinch. Debbie, her mother, then her father. Her parents stood at her bedside, anger and heartbreak written all over their faces. What happened to you? Her father asked, voice low and dangerous. What happened to my daughter? Debbie looked away. It's being handled. Handled? Her mother snapped. Your body is covered in bruises and you're saying it's being handled. We did not marry you off for this, Debbie. I didn't want to worry anyone. As she tried to sit up, a doctor entered with a clipboard. He smiled softly. I have news. Congratulations, Mrs. Okonkwo. You're pregnant. Everyone froze. Her parents looked at each other, then at Debbie, whose mouth dropped slightly in shock. The doctor continued. Rough start, but your vitals are stable. Just stay off stress. Her mother turned slowly to Tobe, who had entered the room moments earlier, expression unreadable. You did this to her, then had the audacity to walk in here with your shoulders high. What kind of a man are you? Tobe looked down silent. Debbie's father stepped forward. If my daughter leaves your house today, forget your inheritance. You never smell kobo from our hands or from your father's legacy. Clenched his jaw. His world was closing in. His father had tied the company to this marriage and now she was carrying his child. He was trapped and it showed on his face. But Debbie just stared out the window, quiet and broken. After she was discharged, she returned home with quiet dignity. Tobe barely spoke a word to her. His mother hired a live-in help to monitor the situation. The moment he raises his hands, on you again, you call me. Debbie nodded. The days passed slowly. Tobe no longer insulted her, but he barely acknowledged her either. He left earlier, returned late, avoided her eyes. Still, she cooked, she cleaned, she prayed. Until one night, he stumbled into the house sweating and weak. He barely made it into the sofa before collapsing. Debbie screamed. The maid was off for the weekend. There was no one else. Tobe's phone fell from his hand. She picked it up and called 5 of his friends. No one picked. One texted back, Omo, I dey club abeg, no vex. She dropped the phone and began to use cold compress to bring his fever down. She then dragged him into the car and drove into the hospital. Hands trembling, heart pounding. By the time they arrived, his temperature was dangerously high. She stayed beside him through the night. Tobe opened his eyes to the soft hum of hospital machines. His head was pounding. His lips were dry. But the first thing he saw when he turned was her, Debbie, sleeping upright on the chair beside his bed, head tilted, one hand still holding his. For a moment he was confused. Then it all came rushing back. His collapse, a fever and her scream. He stared at her face. Her prosthetics were off, and yet for the first time it didn't bother him. Not one bit. He whispered, "Debbie." Her eyes opened instantly. "Tobe." He sat up quickly. You stayed?" She nodded gently. "I couldn't leave you like that." He looked away, guilt creeping across his chest. "You shouldn't have." Debbie didn't respond. The door opened. His mother stepped in with a flax and a tired expression. "You're awake," relief softening her voice. She placed the food down and sat. The doctor said if she hadn't brought you in when she did, your organs might have shut down. "Do you know what that means?" Tobe nodded slowly. "I hope you now see the kind of woman you married." His mother added firmly, "It doesn't take two eyes to see a good heart." Then she looked at Debbie. "Thank you." Debbie smiled weakly. "I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because I care." That night back home, Tobe knocked on her door. Debbie opened it slowly. He stood with a shopping bag in his hand. "I got something for you." She blinked in surprise. "Why?" He scratched his head awkwardly. "Because thank you for saving my life." She accepted the gift, still cautious. "I didn't do it to be repaid." "I know," he said. I'm lucky to still be here." He looked up at her eyes. "You didn't have to, but you said." There was silence between them. Then, for the first time since the wedding, he smiled genuinely. "Do you want to have lunch tomorrow?" Debbie's lips parted slightly. "Lunch?" He nodded. "Just a proper one. Let me at least know who my wife really is." They met at a quiet bistro, tucked away from the city buzz. Debbie wore a simple gown and her prosthetics, but the lightness in her voice was all real. They talked and talked. Tobe brought up everything: business, politics, fashion. Debbie matched his wit, carried his banter, and challenged his arrogance. They laughed, and he noticed she wasn't just kind, she was smart, sharp, a woman who had depth and soul. After lunch, they walked towards the car. He smiled. "How come I never noticed all this before?" Debbie chuckled. "You were too busy looking at the surface." Days turned to weeks. He no longer stayed out late. He joined her in the kitchen. They began sharing jokes again. She was pregnant and he began to care. Until one afternoon, during another lunch outing, a group of guys walked past and one called out, Tobe na. You dey with that girl wey resemble horror movies so?" Tobe stiffened. Another added, "Guy, no. Shame they catch you. Na your level be this." Tobe jaw clenched, his hand curled into a fist. Debbie looked down. Then without warning, Tobe turned and punched one of them across the jaw. The other scattered. The one he hit staggered. "Because of this girl you won't beat me?" Yes, Tobe barked. "Talk about her again and I'll finish what I started." Debbie's eyes widened in shock. He turned to her. "Let's go." In the car, she whispered, "I'm sorry that happened." He looked at her. "It's not your fault. I should have cut them off a long time ago." She nodded slowly. He added, "Debbie, thank you again." For the first time, she smiled without restraint. The baby was growing. So was their peace, but she still kept her guard up. Until one night, he walked in and with a hand over her belly said, "I don't think you need to wear those prosthetics when it's just us." Debbie's eyes welled up. Tobe smiled. "I'm learning to love all of you, even the parts I once couldn't see." The nursery was almost ready. Soft pastel walls, tiny clothes folded neatly in the drawers, and a crib Tobe had personally assembled. Twice because he messed it up the first time. He had changed, not just in words but in effort. Debbie watched him from the doorway, one hand over her growing belly, smiling as he held up a teddy bear and said, "I'm naming this one Trouble, just in case the baby gets ideas." She chuckled. "Then I'll name the next one Peace, so there is balance." Tobe looked at her, really looked. Her laugh had become his favorite sound. He walked up to her and kissed her forehead. "Thank you for giving me a second chance." It had been a few months since the hospital scar, and Tobe was a different man. He checked on Debbie every hour, read parenting blogs, attended antenatal appointments, and every night before they slept, he rubbed her belly and talked to the baby like it could hear him. Debbie felt peace for the first time in years. Then one sunny afternoon, the doorbell rang. She opened it and froze. Dora, her twin sister, stood at the door, suitcase in her hand, glowing with joy. "Surprise!" Dora grinned. "I'm back." Debbie laughed, pulling her into a hug. "You look amazing." Dora stepped back and looked at her belly. "Wow, you're really pregnant." Debbie smirked. "What gave it away?" Dora teased. "So the almighty Toby agreed to touch you." Debbie hit her playfully. "Please rest." They both laughed. Then Toby walked in from the back patio, towel around his neck. "Baby, did you see my..." He froze. Two identical faces stared back at him. Dora folded her arms. "So, you're the famous Toby?" He swallowed. "Yes, I am." Dora's face turned serious. "If you ever lay a finger on my sister again, I'll hunt you down, prosthetics or not." Toby raised his hands in surrender. "Fair enough." Then a small smile escaped his lips. "You must be Dora." She nodded. "Now you've met the original." He chuckled. "I got the better one." Word reached Chifobi that Toby had turned over a new leaf. He invited the couple over to the family estate one evening. They sat together, eating quietly, before he cleared his throat. "Toby, I'm proud of you." Toby sat straighter. "You've shown me that people can change. That love isn't always about perfection. It's about effort." She turned to Debbie. "Thank you for loving my son when even I couldn't." Debbie smiled warmly. Then Chief Okonkwo pulled out an envelope. "I'm handing over the company officially. You've earned it. But I want one thing from you." Toby leaned in. "What's that?" "Place a manager beside you. Someone smart who knows the ropes. You're still learning, but just like you're learning to care for your wife, learn to care for this company too. Don't wait for someone to send you money. Show up. Lead." Toby nodded firmly. "I will, Dad. I understand now." "Good," the old man smiled. "That's all I ever wanted." 2 days later, the call came. Chief Okonkwo had passed in his sleep. Toby dropped the phone. Debbie saw his expression and rushed to him. He simply whispered, "He's gone." She held him as he broke down. The house was filled with mourning. But as life often works, just as death arrived, life returned. It felt surreal. As the family gathered around Chief Okonkwo's lifeless body, Toby sat quietly in the corner, his hands in his hair, his chest heavy. The man who had pushed him, fought him, guided him was gone. He had wanted to make him proud, and just when he finally did, life snatched him away. Debbie stayed close. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. Her presence alone calmed him. But as they prepared for the funeral arrangement that night, Debbie winced sharply. Then again, Toby turned to her. "What is it?" She exhaled. "I think it's time." The hospital was a blur of nurses, rushing steps, and clipped instruction. Debbie was wheeled in. Toby didn't sit. He paced, frayed, held his breath. Then the cry came, loud, sharp, alive. A nurse came out minutes later. "Congratulations, you have a baby boy." Toby's legs gave out as he sat down, tears rolling freely. He was a father. The timing wasn't lost on him. His son was born the same day his own father passed. That evening, as they held the tiny baby in his arms, he whispered, "Welcome, Dad. You're back to us." Debbie smiled weakly from the bed. "You really want to name him after your dad?" He nodded. "It's only right. He gave me everything, and because of him, I found you." Weeks passed. They buried Chifobi with full honor. Toby stood tall beside his mother, carrying his son in his arms. The once arrogant boy had become a man, humbled, grounded, grateful. Back at home, their life shifted into something soft and steady. Late night feedings, shared laughter, quiet prayers. Toby loved her fully now, and it showed. One day, as she was applying her prosthetics in front of the mirror, he walked in, leaned on the door frame, and said, "You don't need to wear it around me anymore." She looked at him through the mirror. He walked over, gently took prosthetics from her hand and kissed the side of her real face. I love every inch of you, Debbie. Not because of what you look like, but because you loved me when I didn't deserve it. Tears filled her eyes. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for not giving up on me. She smiled. Thank you for finally seeing me. And from that day forward, she never wore it at home again because she was no longer hiding. She was seen. She was loved. She was home. The end. Kindly leave in the comments what you learned about this beautiful story. Like, share, and I will see you in the next one, my loves. Till then, bye.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.